Hey, Leah, I'm so excited to have you here on the Sarah Hall Show. I'm so pumped because you're actually my second interview on the show. I was really excited to bring you on. And I want to start by having you go ahead and introduce yourself because some people may be familiar with you that follow my show, but others may not. So introduce yourself and tell us your story.
Awesome. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited. And yeah, my name's Leah Van Dodler. I'm a weight loss dietitian. I work with busy working women and I help them achieve lasting weight loss with confidence. I absolutely love what I do. And I realize how powerful that is, right? When you have so much passion about what you do, I think it just really helps you move forward with your journey. And a little bit about my story. You know what? I always knew that I wanted to work in healthcare. And I quickly learned that I wanted to do things at my own pace. And working in hospitals, I just felt like things took forever to make change. And I really wanted to have more control over decisions and how quickly they were made. And I grew up in a household with a bunch of boys. I grew up in an entrepreneurial spirited household. So, that experience and I think it was always there. I knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't know quite what that journey would look like for me. But here we are. It just kind of evolved over time.
Yeah. Well, I think that's important to really realize too. If you are listening to the show and hearing Leah's story as the evolution of you as a person, you as an entrepreneur, we'll get into a lot of that as we're moving along today in the podcast and the show. But so many times I don't think people realize how much entrepreneurship is about evolution. And I do want to talk about today, even something we've been coaching on just starting this morning, another evolution of your offer and who you're talking to. So we'll definitely try to get into that. But I think you prove a good point about just being willing to get in there, evolve and grow and even become a better person. For me, like entrepreneurship made me the person that I am today. It made my confidence soar. It made my belief soar. It made me a better mom. It made me a better wife. Like just the skill set that you learn as an entrepreneur, it's crazy how it can change your whole life and your relationships too,
I 100% agree with that. And like you said too, Sarah, it really is, it's such a personal development journey. And
Right.
over these years, I've really seen that. And yeah, the confidence and the boldness, it shows up not only in your business, but in your personal life, relationships, everything. And it feels really good, really good.
Yeah. So Leah, I love asking this, why did you become an entrepreneur? Like, what was the goal when you set out and said, I'm going to start a business? What went through your mind? What did you need in your life? Like, why did you want to become an entrepreneur?
The first word that comes to my mind, Sarah, is fulfillment. A couple of years ago, I was at a point where I felt like I had so much more to offer and so much more to give. And I was getting so frustrated with myself. And I knew that I wasn't truly fulfilled with what I was doing. And it was like that day in time, I had drawn the line in the sand and decided to cross over it.
Right.
Because I knew that there was more. I wanted that fulfillment and I don't know if you felt that too, that desire to be, truly fulfilled and just knowing that you are, really pushing yourself to your full potential.
Yeah. I think it happens for certain people faster, like that need for fulfillment. I feel like my job as a clinical dietitian fulfilled me for a time, and I think, I became an RD years ago, 2006, and I was learning and growing and still evolving myself. I was a new mom, so I was fulfilled for quite a while. And I truly think that there are two types of fulfillment when it comes to our career. And that's just physical and emotional fulfillment, that we feel good about what we're doing. But then there's the monetary fulfillment as well. And so for me, like, some people come to me and they're like, well, I like my job. Well, guess what? I like my job too. But my job was not fulfilling what we needed in our life, our lifestyle, travel, things for the kids, college funds, debt freedom. So you can be fulfilled in your job, but still not be monetarily fulfilled. But you can also have the opposite, where you can be making good money at your job and even be potentially making six figures, but you're not happy what you're doing. And there's something to be said about true happiness, right? So I think so many people are like, they either don't like their job and they want to start the business because of that, because they're not fulfilled, like you said, or they're not making, their correct level of income and they're not fulfilled there. The point I'm making here is you can like your job and still want to be an entrepreneur. You can not like your job and want to be an entrepreneur. You can be making a lot of money, but still want entrepreneurship for something else in your life or later in life, I'm at the point now where I feel like everyone should have something, their hand in something, whether it's a side hustle or like full-time entrepreneurship. So yeah, I totally hear you on the fulfillment. And I think for a long time I was fulfilled with my job, but then it just slid into not being fulfilled,
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what happened for me. I never, wasn't fulfilled in my job. I liked what I did, and I actually still continue with some part-time, clinical roles because I love them. They fulfill me. It was, more of the, okay, I want bigger things for my life, the money piece, and going for things like that. So yeah, exactly what you just said.
Yeah. Can you talk for a second about this though? Because like when I decided I was going to start a business, I mean, it looked way different than it looks now, obviously. But when I started, I was still kind of scared. But I said, hey, what am I more scared of? Trying to put out some videos or trying to use social media, learning a new skill. Am I more scared of that? Or am I more scared of my kids having student loans one day? Or us not really having our dream house like we have now? Like, what I had to decide, what am I more scared of? And I was definitely more scared of not having our current life. I could visualize it. I could see it. I could feel it. But I knew my job wasn't going to give it to me. But so many people are scared and they just sit there in that fear and they're paralyzed, right? What made you say, you said earlier, I'm going to draw the line in the sand. I'm going to basically jump over it. What was it that you said, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway?
Yeah, that's a really good question. It came back to me for, in the future, would I regret, like, what would I regret more?
Yeah.
Like sitting here and just kind of going through the motions and, having that, I don't want to say mediocre, but it's either going through the motions or actually taking that leap of faith, actually trying and giving it a shot, like giving it a fair shot. And the answer to me was, I would regret not trying.
Yeah.
That's what pushed me.
Yeah. That is so huge. I hope everybody that's watching this or listening to this says to themselves like, wow, what do I not want to wake up and regret one day, And I think that was probably my story as well. I just didn't want to regret not doing the most I could do to live a fulfilled life, like you said, but also just this extraordinary life. I feel like for me, like most of us have these little dreams that we just every year just push to the back of the head, just push back. Well, I'm in this career. This is what I went to college for. This is what I'm doing. Or things feel okay right now. I'm just going to keep doing it. And we just keep pushing the dream of the extraordinary life back to the point where it's like feels impossible to accomplish it. And so you're really speaking my language with all of this, because I believe that we have those dreams. Stop suppressing them, bring them to the front and get to work with it, Let's talk about too, let's switch gears for a second. when you take a client, you help busy women, and we're moving over into, let's talk about through this conversation who your new ideal client may be, but how would you say you help your clients? What do you do with your clients to get them the results that they're coming to you for?
Yeah, great question. So like you said, I work with busy working women. I really help them with planning ahead, and so not only help them with their plan of action, but I also help them with their execution, because so many women come to me, they're like, listen, Leah, like I know what to do. It's just the execution of it. So really, just bringing it back to basics and putting their plan into small action steps. So the planning piece is huge. And another thing that I really help them with is helping them with their, how can I say this? Just with mindfulness, and really helping them be conscious of how all aspects of their life affect their stress levels, their want or desires to eat, their nutrition, all of that stuff. So really looking at the awareness piece and just helping them build belief in themselves and getting them away from that all or nothing thinking. So I help my clients build skills like resilience, and I also help them build skills such as impulse control, and just helping them gain perspective and have a pause and really learn how to respond in emotionally charged situations. And, I just had a conversation with a client this morning, but I talk about controllable factors versus uncontrollable factors a lot with my clients, and helping women just put them in their power and put them in the driver's seat and help them make better choices that are suitable for them. Nobody else. All comes down to them.
Yeah. Well, I love that, because actually so parallel to coaching in business, the controllables versus the uncontrollables, helping them be the best version of themselves, and like you evolving their plan for them, not for someone else. You don't need a general strategy for weight loss, for example, since that's your ideal client. They're usually coming to you looking to gain some control in areas of their life, to lose weight, feel better, have more energy, be more confident. But all of these things are so parallel to business, how you need a personalized strategy. You need to understand what you can control and what you can't. And as soon as you let go of those things that are like not in your control, and you focus in on the things that are in your control, it's amazing how the result happens, whether it's weight loss or mindset or business strategy or making money. So many people focus on everything they freaking can't control. And I think that's a huge change for you personally as well. You stop focusing on all that other crap, you really, I want to commend you. And I've said this to you multiple times. You just have really worked on your mindset and belief. And the Sarah Hall ism of, I have all these little isms. Leah knows because she's with me every day. And I say all these funny things. But it's always the fact that you have to control what you can control. And you're going to, never outgrow your mindset or your belief. Your business will never outgrow your mindset or your belief. And that's one thing you really worked on. You work on that with your clients, but you did a lot of internal work yourself too. Do you think that was one of your biggest breakthroughs in your business so far, is your mindset?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And I think there was a point where I noticed that I was becoming I don't want to say stagnant, but there was a point where I noticed that the months there was no growth. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And I knew that I wanted to, go to the next level, work with more people, bring in more income. And it really was the mindset that helped with that, because it was the belief. The belief in myself has just grown exponentially. It's been really amazing to see, and just being okay with, or just really stepping into my true authentic self, caring less about what other people think, and just having that confidence and knowing that not everybody's going to work with me, and that's totally okay. And also knowing that it's okay to reach out and ask people questions, and knowing that, and something that I've learned from you over, the months, Sarah, is just, reaching out and asking people about their problems is not slimy or sleazy, going from it and really showing up with a grateful heart and just being curious and wanting to actually connect and help people has been huge. So mindset and really looking at, what's my motive when I'm reaching out here? My motive is not to get something from somebody. My motive is to really connect, understand, and my motive is to give something. And it's amazing how that mindset shift really affects how you show up and how you communicate with people. And that's what's pushed me.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's shifting from I'm trying to sell something to I know that I have a powerful service for women and they need me, and I think when we shift from, I don't want this to sound like, I always say, don't take my realness for rudeness, but like, you don't really need the client. The client needs you. And when you can shift from, I need clients, I need to make sales, I have to get in this, social media today, and I have to make money and I have to make a sale. It feels so much pressure and so overwhelming. And then your intentions are off. And when your intentions are off, it comes across online like, oh, she's just like anybody else. But when you check your intentions at the gate of those DMs, right, and the gate of social media, like you have done, Leah, it shifts of like, you know what? Some will and some won't. Some will respond, some won't. Some will buy from me, some won't. You release those expectations, and it not only becomes more natural for you, which is what happened, but it also becomes more authentic feeling on the opposite end of that DM. So the other person is like, wow, I really like Leah. Like, I think she could really solve my problem. I'm going to give up my dollars to Leah because I believe in her, And I think that was the big shift. And from a coaching standpoint, I can always tell when we're on the cusp of greatness. And I felt that with you several months ago. I was like, I think we even had this conversation. Leah, we're on the cusp of greatness, but something is holding you back. Something is getting in the way, because I could tell you were implementing, but you weren't like going hard implementing, right? And it was that feeling of your mindset not being fully there to have conversations, get deeper with people, and not feel like you were being spammy or whatever you want to call it. So I just wanted to commend you on doing the work, because I always say every new level of business requires a new level of you. And you have created this next level person. And here's the real raw truth. We're not done yet. And you're at this level of being. Imagine what the next phase of Leah is like. And I think it would be cool if we did share, where were you when you felt kind of stuck, like monetary wise? And what happened next when you got past and you did the mindset and belief work? What happened next for you in your monthly income?
Mm-hmm. So I think the biggest thing was feeling hesitant to reach out to somebody. And I also, working on mindset, realized that, as an entrepreneur, I create, I don't wait. Yeah. Because when people need something, or when people need something, or when they are in pain and they are embarrassed about a problem, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to reach out.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my mantra. I'm like, I create, I don't wait. And it is perfectly okay for me to reach out and just ask. Just be curious about it. That's what really helped. And, you've got Sid Scott in your program too, Sarah, and I just love working with him. And he challenged me. He's like, you got to stop caring so much and like getting all in your head about asking people for money. And he challenged me to ask a bunch of strangers for $5. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to do this. Like, I'm going to do this, Sid. And it was a challenge. It was amazing what kind of feelings and emotions came up in me, but I did it. I did it multiple times. And it just like, it gets easier. And like, you say, and he says, things get easier the more that you do it. Right. And that is what pushed me from, the 5K months to the 10K months, was just do it. Like, what do I have to lose? And being comfortable with just asking and just being more bold. Right.
Yeah. I love it. When Sid asked you to do that, I'm not going to lie, I was like, what on earth? But I trust him to work with my clients, or he wouldn't be in my program working with my clients. I was like, let's just give this a go. And I'm telling you, between that and everything else we were working on, it was like a skyrocket for you, being kind of stuck and stagnant at 5K months, which a lot of people are like, man, that's my goal. You can definitely get to 5K months, but Leah had bigger goals. She wanted to do more, and doubled. I think it was less than 60 days. We saw a double in your income. And for those of you that don't know, right above the 8K mark is a 6-figure income in our space. So consistent 10K months definitely puts you well above 6 figures per year. And I just think that one shift, you've got to focus on, if you're holding yourself back, you need to find that inner work. You need to do that inner work to grow your mindset, grow your belief, find people that can help you. Those of you that don't know, I do have a full-time mindset coach in our program, and that's who Leah is referring to. And maybe I'll get him on the show one day, but he does some amazing work, because if you have the business strategy, that's one part of the puzzle, right? But with you, Leah, we had the business strategy, and we're continuing to evolve that. We brought in that mindset and belief work, and it came out on the end of doubling your revenue. So I'm really excited about that. Now, I think we've talked a lot about breakthroughs. We've talked about struggles. Do you have like one big lesson that you've learned that you want to dive into on the show today?
There's so many lessons that I've learned.
Everyone says that.
I know. I think the biggest thing, there's two. The one, again, like working in your program or working with Sid, I have completely owned and taken pride in being a weight loss dietitian, because there was a time where I was almost feeling guilty about being a weight loss dietitian, and I wasn't talking about what I do and how I help people. And Sid asked me, he's like, Leah, it's like, who do you serve? Because I was so worried about judgment of other dietitians judging me for trying to help people lose weight. And I, like, that little question of who do you serve really helped me. Like, everything just clicked. I'm like, you're right. I serve women that are struggling with their weight. I know how to help them. And it was something you said, Sarah. You said you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And I loved that so much. So that's been a huge one for me. And I say that to myself all the time. I'm like, Leah, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Like, it's okay. And also just chilling out around your sales goals. Like, don't get me wrong. I do set sales goals every month. And you've taught me, Sarah, how to figure out the numbers and break down how many people do I have to talk to every month, but also chilling out a bit around if I don't achieve the outcome, like, it's okay. Like, it doesn't make me a bad person, or it doesn't reflect, like, poorly on my worth or my value. I have learned to really focus and fall in love with the process, and truly believing that the outcome, it will come, and not having a specific time frame for it, and having the thoughts of, it's like, well, if I want to be making 7 figures, like, what would the thoughts of a 7-figure entrepreneur, like, what would her thoughts be like?
Yeah.
So that is the biggest thing that I've learned.
Yeah, I love that, because you have to be able to visualize. And sometimes it's, working with other people that are there so you can think how they think and perform how they perform so you can be there too one day. I feel like a lot of my clients literally learn from osmosis. I kid you not. Like, what would Sarah do, right? We even have this little acronym in the program, WWSS. What would Sarah say? WWSD. What would Sarah do, But one thing you said, I got to touch on this for a second. The judgment of others, because it's not always, sometimes it can be coworkers, sometimes it can be family, sometimes it can be spouses or partners, sometimes it can be best friends. But a lot of times what I find in the coaching space is it's the peer judgment. Oh, I've got these other, similar coaches, dietitians, nutrition coaches, mindset coaches, or whatever. They're following me, and internally you guys are like holding yourself back because you're not, you think you're posting for them. I got news for you. You're not posting for them. You're posting for your ideal client. Who gives a flip what anybody else says about it? They're not paying your bills or building your dream life. So how about this? Just get them off your page. If they're holding you back, get those other people that are peer group people. If you think they're going to judge you, why are they there? I'm just going to be real. If you think they're going to judge you, why are they there? Let's get them off, because you're there to serve your ideal client. If they're not your ideal client, they're just cluttering up your feed and your brain. Some people may find that very harsh, but your social media is now your mobile office. It's the place you make money. You're creating content for your ideal client, not for X other coach over in your same niche, And I remember the day that you posted that for the mindset call, because Sid and I had a private conversation about it. And I was like, here's the real question. Is Leah posting for her ideal client, or is Leah posting for her peers? Because I'm so used to my clients struggling with this, and it being such a big deal. So the fear of judgment is a huge struggle. And I'm glad that you were okay talking about that today, because I know people that are listening and watching are going to say, man, that's me too. I'm so worried what this other person is going to think, and if you want to help with people lose weight, own that. That's your thing. That's your superpower. If someone else wants to help someone do intuitive eating, that's their thing. That's their story. That's their superpower. And we can all coexist.
Yeah.
We can all coexist.
Yeah. I think that's so huge. And you know what? After that mindset coaching call, I deleted every single one of the dietitians that were on my page. And it was night and day, because what you just said, Sarah, you're posting for the people that you serve. And that is that really helped too with the mindset and the jump in income, because you don't even realize how much that fear of judgment really holds you back from being your true, authentic self, even though you've got, so much about your ideal client, and yet you hold it back. So remembering who you serve has been a huge game changer in my business, and feels so liberating. It feels very liberating.
Yeah. That's awesome. I feel like it's the subconscious brain too that does a lot of this. I want to post this, and this is what I feel confident talking about, but what will so-and-so think? Or, you're just not being your authentic self. And, you said you had to remove some people from your page, and we definitely aren't wanting to have anybody thinking, oh, we just aren't supportive. You are supportive, and you can support them in other ways. It's strictly you identified, along with obviously mine and Sid's help. This is my problem. This is why I'm hitting this glass ceiling. But the ceiling is glass for a reason. You can bust through it, And it was identifying that you were subconsciously not speaking your truth and not being bold in your content. And I always say, and I usually get tongue-tied when I say it, but the bold bird gets the worm. And you decided, I'm going to get rid of what's causing my light to dampen and my boldness to not shine. And it was simply that you feared judgment. We got rid of that, and your glass ceiling was busted, you know? And some people, you know, you guys got to take a serious look at, are you doing this too? Are you letting the fear of judgment hold you back from being your greatest version of yourself and being bold? Because that right there is one click away from becoming a 6-figure or 7-figure entrepreneur, you know? So I'm really proud of you for doing that, Leah, and really talking about it too, because a lot of people, you know, have struggles talking about that. But let's shift gears. I got a couple more things I want to ask you. So what would you tell someone if they're one option is starting a business and scared to death, like we talked about in the beginning, where you were a little scared, but you did it anyway. Or if they're feeling stuck in their business, kind of where you were hovering around that 5K, we felt there was something holding you back. We implemented a plan for it. What's your biggest advice if someone is feeling stuck or scared?
Good question. Couple things I want to say. The first one is, you know, understanding that like you can't be a hero in every single area of your life, and that's okay. And reaching out for help is so needed, and not being afraid to invest in your future. That was a huge one for me. I felt like I could figure it all out on my own, but just having that real talk, it's like, you know what, you don't have to figure it all out. And investing in a coach is a very safe and beneficial investment. I see the huge value in that. That has been a big game changer for me. And also realizing that, you know, you're like, well, I'm in this for the long haul. And I think that surrounding yourself with a team of a coach and, you know, eventually making hires, like it's okay to invest in your future, and it's safe to do so. And yeah, you can't do it all.
I think part of that is our pride, because we're used to doing all kinds of things. We're used to getting through college ourselves, and like, you know, we're used to following systems. But if you don't have the right system to elevate your business faster, then you're sitting there spinning your wheels, wasting a bunch of time anyway. You know, same thing for your clients. They're hiring you because they're getting there faster, quicker, in a hurry. And I feel like most of my clients say this, like, I hired a coach because I didn't want to waste a lot of time. I hired a coach because I wanted results faster. And your clients do the same thing. So I think a lot of people have those similar thoughts. And I think that's very important advice. Like, find somebody that can be in your corner, find a team of people. Like, that's one thing I love about, you know, in the EBM, we have me, obviously the founder and the main, obviously, business strategist, but we have Sid, a mindset coach. We have a copywriter now for persuasive writing and storytelling. And we have Caitlin, an Instagram guru. She's so amazing. She's built so many pages to 20, 30, 50K followers. Like, you need a team of people. You need people that get you, because if your inner circle, like at home, spouses, coworkers, peers, they're not getting you, you need that, you know, coaching and community aspect that can support you to reach your goals faster. So I love that. Okay, last thing, and then we'll get wrapped up here on the show today. But what do you want to celebrate, girl? Like, you're doing so good. So what would you want to celebrate or share? What is next for you? What is next for Leah in her life or business?
Yeah, a couple things. I think, I was sharing with you there, Sarah, last week. It was really nice to sit down and I think it's really important to just gain some perspective and really reflect on your progress, because we get so, you know, pigeonholed sometimes. And just reflecting that I've created freedom of time. I am creating, you know, financial freedom. And it's just so nice to take a moment, gain perspective, and really celebrate that. And also, I'm really excited to share, business is all about evolution, right? And I'm really excited to share my next step is just tweaking my niche. like you were saying at the beginning of this call, Sarah, there's so many similarities between business coaching and weight loss coaching. And I love working with driven women. And I am going to start working with female entrepreneurs and helping them with their weight loss goals and just helping them, feel like their most powerful self.
Yeah, I'm excited about it because I've obviously been an entrepreneur 8 years. I work with thousands of entrepreneurs over my time as a business coach. And I just know the way that entrepreneurs think. But the lesson here, for you, Leah, but also for anyone watching or listening to the show is the fact that you are supposed to evolve as an entrepreneur. What you want to do in your first year may not be what you want to do in your second year. Who you start working with in the beginning may not be who you're working with in 6 months. But through the process of taking clients, making sales, making more money, you start to evolve your thinking. You start to evolve what you're doing. You start to realize, hey, I want to make a shift. And like I said earlier, every new level of your business requires a new level of you. And some of that is just evolving who we're talking to, how we're talking to them, who we're serving, how we're serving them. And I think so many people get so caught up in this futuristic thinking. Well, unless you have some sort of superpower that I don't know about, we can't see the future. So you have to get started. You have to be willing to take some clients, learn from those clients, evolve, move forward, do it again, evolve, move forward, do it again. And I think that's what you're seeing, Leah, now in this part of your business is this is the new level of the client I want to work with, and I think that's just an important part of the entrepreneurship journey to realize, you're not going to be working with the same people the rest of your life. You're going to learn, evolve, and grow. I don't know that I ever, in the first couple of years of business anyway, saw myself being a business coach. But I developed all these skills over the years. And then all of a sudden one day, somebody said, teach me how you're doing this. Her name was Emily. And I didn't even have an offer for business coaching. And she was my first client. And she went on to earn 6 figures, And then I said, oh man, this may be who I feel good about. This whole lesson here on our podcast is that word fulfillment that you used in the beginning. It's okay to evolve into a new version of you, a new offer, a new niche. If you feel more fulfilled, it's okay to start that business, even scared. If you feel more fulfilled, the bottom line is we're not here to just work, make money, and pass away one day. We're here to build an extraordinary, legacy, honestly. And so I just love that. I'm really proud of you. I'm glad that's our next step is just evolving and growing. I love getting in there and getting my hands dirty with that. So yes, I'm really excited about that. And I just wanted to say, you're my second interview, like I said in the beginning. So I'm really excited that we're going to have people watching this. And I just really appreciate you sharing your story and being so candid about the struggles you experienced and the mindset issues. Because I think that is so, it's not talked about enough. It's always, marketing, sales, Instagram, branding. But what's not talked about enough is behind the scenes work that you do on your heart and your head. Yeah. And that makes a big difference. So I really appreciate you talking about that.
Oh, of course. So honored to be here. I absolutely love this. Thank you.